I've never thought that in this cycle we actually going to see a voters' war for the presidential candidates in the USA supporting crypto. Donald Trump came out and is saying right now that he wants to change the crypto landscape in the US, and that will of course have a massive impact on the whole crypto industry. That is something that we need to talk about because it will have an imminent effect on Bitcoin and also on Ethereum. So if you want to see the charts here for Bitcoin and a lot of other coins that I've prepared, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, because I know 40% of you are not subscribed to the channel yet. So go and subscribe and also activate the notifications so you will never miss out on these really important updates. And now let's get started here. Before we are jumping in what Donald Trump is actually saying right now over this weekend, where they have Memorial Day, we need to have a look here at Bitcoin. So when we're looking here at the daily range on the daily chart, nothing really has changed over the last couple of weeks here, basically, since we went to $74,000. Bitcoin is still respecting the overall range, and you could potentially say it's quite boring because you want either that the range breaks to the downside, that we get some action, or that we are breaking here to the upside and get some action. Right now, just the fact that we are trading above the mid-range and the resistance is a bullish indication that most likely we're going to break here anytime soon to the upside, and from there, of course, into higher prices. So for now, we only need to watch what's happening around the mid-range at $65,000 approximately. As long as we are holding that level, there's nothing to worry on the higher time frames. When we're going into the 12-hourly chart, here's something more imminent that we need to watch, and that is the $69,400 and $500 level, because that is still the golden ratio that is just sitting above us from where we got rejected today. Regardless, we have broken with the current 12-hourly candle above the downward sloping trend line here. The only problem with that is that the indicators signaling to me right now a little bit of weakness, because the RSI is going here more or less sideways, but is making here a downwards rounding shape, like it wants to come down. And the stochastic RSI is also not really showcasing strength here, while the MACD is also printing a red candle, a darker red candle. So we need to get here into the golden ratio in the next hour, so $200 from the current level, to get a little bit more bullish momentum here and start pushing a little bit higher into the $70,000 area to basically change the bias that we see on the indicators right now. But on the other hand, it's not really surprising because bulls are in control, bears are fighting here to the death and trying to push the price lower to gain here again momentum. So I'm not really surprised seeing this here. And of course, it's a weekend, so overall on a weekend, prices are slowing down, the whole market is slowing down. And tomorrow is still a holiday in the US, so I'm not expecting major moves here until tomorrow evening, when the CME exchange is opening again. And we then determine if we are going to have a CME gap or not, because we are more or less sitting at the current closing price that we had on Friday. And of course, if we keep trading around this price here, by tomorrow evening, we don't have a CME gap. If prices are below Friday's close, then we have one and we're going up to close it. If we trading above the closing price of Friday, then we are going to see prices coming back down here to fill the gap and then continuation. So we have to see tomorrow what the outcome is, where the prices are at. But I can tell you one thing, if here on the Bitcoin chart, we are getting a really nice push here to the upside above the downward sloping trend line here in the next, 36 hours, then expect that we have a CME gap below us. At some point we are going to fill. And that can again coincide with something geopolitically, like China now invaded Taiwan or something like that, so just that you are aware of that. Now, when it comes to liquidation levels, we could see a quick flush down to like $68,000 just for the late longers here to take them out. When we're looking at the grand scheme of things, still the major liquidity is sitting here above us and closer to the price action than the little bit that we have directly below us. So if the bears really wanted, and the market makers wanted to make here bank in a big way, then they need to push prices below $62,000 and start liquidating everybody that's long in these levels and has their liquidation levels. As long as that is not happening, again, we go to the upside, especially as long as we're holding here above the EMA ribbon. As long as that ribbon is holding and we're trading above it, I expect continuation. And even if it's like a continuous grind here to the upside, what we're seeing here right now alongside the EMA ribbon, I'm absolutely fine with that. The liquidation heat map is also clearly stating where support and resistance is right now. So and that is here from 68,500 to approximately 70,056. That is the trading range where Bitcoin is kind of trapped in here over the weekend. So and for the time being, we are respecting even 68,800 and 69,600. So this is the range here for the weekend that we are respecting. Once we are seeing a move here in direction of $70,000, we're going to get a short squeeze to the upside. The same goes if we break under 68,600, expect a long liquidation to the downside. And when we're going into the higher time frames, then things look a little bit different. So here you see above us is right now way more liquidity than below us in the basically in the same volume area, so if I would make here a box out of this, and I put this box below us, then you see in this box would be more liquidity than below us. Hence why I still believe that we are going to see a move here to the upside. The same can we find when we look at the 1 hourly chart. The 1 hourly chart is printing right now in ascending triangle. We are in the area where we should normally get a breakout. Remember, perfect breakout scenario is like kind of here in that window. And if you want to learn more about this, go below the video. There is a link to my course, to my program. There I teach you stuff like that, where is the perfect window, when should you take the trade and stuff like that, just in case that you don't learn enough from the videos here itself, then just go and check out my program. Once we are breaking above $69,300, we would break here out to the upside. The target is of course not super high, because it's a 1 hourly time frame, it's a small ascending triangle. But regardless, so that would bring us all the way up to like $70,283, a $1,000 move. That's a 1.5-ish% move to the upside. That is nice for a scalp, so you could scalp this with like 30-40x, then you make like 50-60% on that move. Just if you would do that, have a really tight stop loss on this, so I'm gonna show you. I would do most likely something like this. So see a 0.46% stop loss against a 1.42% move to the upside. The risk to reward ratio is good. Hence why I would take the trade, but just be aware of that this can turn really quickly when we get here into this resistance level of $69,900. Yes. So the indicators telling also a clear story here right now. The MACD is about to flip bullish. The RSI is pointing to the upside. The stochastic is showing indecision, but this is because of the consolidation phase. We see this from time to time in consolidation phases, especially in triangles. So that is fine. That's why I would ignore that for now and just trust the other two indicators plus the price action that is pumping here to the upside. So that might be the next trade that you can take if you catch it early enough, depending on my editor actually. So if you see this quite quickly, this video, and are still able to get into it. So if we are, let's say, already at $69,600, don't bother, don't enter this anymore, once the video is coming out. Let's talk about Donald Trump, because it is insane. When you look at articles from 5 years ago, more or less, so Donald Trump said here in a statement, he's not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which are not money for him, have no value because they're super high volatile and are based on thin air. Did he check what the dollar is based on? I heard it's not backed by gold anymore, so I think it's also based on air. But anyway, unregulated crypto assets can facilitate unlawful behavior, is what he's saying, and that includes drug trade and other illegal activities. So that was the stance 5 years ago. So where he basically said, this is nonsense. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to hear anything about it. So Donald Trump said after the last bull run, crypto is very dangerous, and he warns of an explosion like we have never seen. So explosion, we think an explosion is something good, you know, in terms of crypto. Crypto is exploding, amazing. You know, he means it in a negative sense, where we see an explosion like with the .com bubble, you know, so where the .com bubble bursted, you know, so and everything went basically to shit. He's meaning here the same thing technically. It says that this explosion will be something that we have never seen before once crypto is basically blowing up, you know, so like again in a negative way. That was 3 years ago. Now, when we are going fast forward, I just want to make sure that I have the right articles in order here. So then last year, now get this, 2 years later, Donald Trump, his own crypto wallet, so he has now his own wallet, which is kind of funny, is holding over $5 million, you know, so he declared that he is holding over $5 million worth of crypto right now. It made him a small whale, you know, so despite past his skepticism about cryptocurrencies in general. And now, when we're going to this year, I think this is from one was... Yes, so before I show you this clip, so this year, Donald Trump is suggesting that he would not crack down on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as a president. And now get this, he is not doing it anymore because for the last couple of months, he saw what Gary Gensler is doing, and he basically saw a big opportunity there. He saw the opportunity of jumping in there and now fighting for us to get a better regulated playing field for the crypto industry and not make US companies want to leave the US based of the landscape that they are facing right now in terms of regulations, which is not favorable at all for any crypto company in the US. So he understands that this is tax income for the US that is basically going abroad, and that this is also not a small amount that's leaving the country. So that's why, of course, Biden is not the biggest fan of crypto. He is also changing his strategy right now because Trump is now pro-crypto, but technically is seeing the opportunity to catch the votes at the same time. You know, so he is basically here making a 2-for-1 deal. You know, so he is getting more tax income for the US if he becomes the president and can make US crypto companies stay in the country, plus that he will get all the voters vote to vote for him if he has a pro-crypto stance. You know, so he wants the crypto vote because he understands this is a huge community right now. There's a lot of money involved, so and he wants for their interest and in his best interest that these people stay and then, of course, vote for him. So now listen to this clip here from 2 months ago. So it's just a minute. So listen to this.
It just took off. And I noticed that so many of them were paid for with this, with the new currency. And it is that. It's a new cryptocurrency. And I couldn't believe the amount. And I'm saying, you know, this thing has really, and other things I do, people are using it, and
people are using it.
I would be. I'm very much a traditionalist. I like staying with the dollar. You know that from when I was there. It's make the dollar the choice. I hate when countries go off the dollar. I would not allow countries to go off the dollar because when we lose that standard, that will be like losing a revolutionary war. That will be a hit to our country, just like losing a war, and we can't let that happen. And too many countries now are fighting to get off the dollar. And and frankly, and I know Jay feels strongly about this, and Jay did a fantastic job, by the way, in a group where there's always scandal and problems. Jay went through 4 years. There wasn't one scandal. I don't know, Jay, maybe you can tell me, but there wasn't one scandal. That is the most scandalous position because it involves massive amounts of money. With Jake Clayton, we had no scandal, zero, nothing whatsoever. So I thought it was great. But I have seen there has been a lot of use of that, and I'm not sure that I'd want to take it away at this point.
Yeah, you see, so here he is clearly saying he doesn't want to take it away anymore because he sees the usage that a lot of people are using crypto right now. So and then just yesterday, he came out and doubled basically down on that. So, and that is something that you really, really should listen to. And trust me, this will get him a lot of votes in the US. I was talking about this on a Twitter space a couple months back, and people were laughing at me. Now they're not going to laugh anymore when you listen to this.
And I will also stop Joe Biden's crusade to crush crypto. We're going to stop it. I will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in the USA, not driven overseas. I will support the right to self-custody to the nation's 50 million crypto holders. I say this with your vote. I will keep Elizabeth Warren and her goons away from your Bitcoin. And I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency.
So now get this, there are 50 million crypto holders in the US. That is a huge chunk of the American population that are casting votes. If he can capture only 50% of that, trust me, that will get him ahead in the race to become the next president. And I was talking about this a couple months back on Twitter Spaces. People did not understand what I meant and were laughing at me, you know, and were shutting me down. Now, if some of them are watching this clip, who is laughing now? I told you this is going to happen. I told you crypto will play a major role in the upcoming election once Trump is coming out. I was predicting this, that Trump would come out and come into the crypto camp to catch the voters that are pro-crypto. So, and that this will lead to a potential win for him. So there were people on that Twitter space, they called me crazy. You know, they were like, what are you talking about? Now I can show them what I was talking about. So, and that is something beautiful and amazing. So now let's move on here. So that's why I'm saying this will have a major impact, you know. So here, when we're going now into the Bitcoin dominance, we see dominance is starting to break down here again a little bit. Bitcoin is holding on to the current level. I think we will not see a lot of movement here in any of them over the next 36 hours, because we need the US to open the markets after Memorial Day. Once that is happening, I think we're going to see a delayed effect on what Trump said, unless there's something happening with China, you know. So I expect that the Trump speech that he did yesterday will have an impact on Monday night when they open the traditional markets here once again. And then we should also see dominance coming down here a little bit further. The USDT dominance, however, is moving to the downside as we were expecting it. Remember, I told you guys yesterday, best case scenario is rejecting from 4.57% to the downside. We are having here now a doji. There's a little bit indecision. If tomorrow we see a little bit of movement in altcoins and Bitcoin, then we're gonna move in direction of the 4.33% level. And remember, that will bring us above $70,000. Potentially even $72,000 when we are getting to that level. Once we're breaking it, we're moving in all-time high direction for Bitcoin. Ethereum is also moving today here. The Ethereum BTC chart clearly showing us that Ethereum is starting to gain some strength here. But to be fully convinced, we need to break out here above the 0.0558 level, more or less. Once we are doing that, Ethereum should be trading then around $4,000, and the 0.06 level will be 4,500 or even all-time high area for Ethereum. So here also a really great sign that we are holding above the multi-month downward sloping trend that we had here, this one here, and also the multi-week downward sloping trend that we have now turned into support. And again, I mentioned that the other day, if we can hold here 0.054, expect a bounce here to the upside. That is also exactly what we are seeing here right now. So if you were able to flip your Ethereum, your Bitcoin for Ethereum down here, then you are already massively up here, around 20%. Yes. 20%. So you would get now 20% more Bitcoin if you would switch back your Ethereum against Bitcoin. Here in the dollar chart for Ethereum, there we see, of course, that chart is reacting to something like that, where we are gaining strength against Bitcoin, and we see here a small move to the upside. Here is some resistance. I'm gonna mark that out here. So you see here, there is here this kind of resistance block, that little one. I want to mark this out from 3,817 to 3,870. It's a small one. It's just a 1% resistance area, more or less. Once we're breaking through that, expect a retest of the $4,000 level. And yeah, when we break through $1,000, the next stop would be 4,382. If you're not in an Ethereum trade and you did not catch it down here where I suggested you, where you should place some orders, then wait for a break of 3,840. And that is in the middle of that resistance area. From there, with a 1 hourly candle close, I would try to long this with a stop loss at 3,680 and take profit 4,400. That's how I would play this in that scenario. Then Solana moved a little bit lower than I expected it to be honest. The downward sloping trend line is still not broken, so like I suggested you guys, you should not open a trade until this trend line is broken, unless you're a little bit risk adverse. Then you could have entered here already at this level that I had given you, but for the most part of you guys, you should be not in a trade here right now. I would still wait for a break of the downward sloping trend line. No matter where this trend line is breaking, that becomes your entry right now. So would I long if we drop back into this area here? No, not really. I would really wait right now for this break of this downward sloping trend, because I want to show you here again something. We had here also a downward sloping trend, and look how high Solana moved afterwards. Here we got the break and Solana moved almost 29% to the upside. So also here, there was a massive break. It was more a long-term break. Here, okay, that's more or less the same. Not really interesting. Let's see. So we had here another break. If I would draw a line here to the upside, there was another 20%. So an average 20 to 30% is the move that we can expect when we are breaking a really long ongoing downwards trend line. And that's why I'm telling you, just wait for the break here in Solana before we move here to the upside. And guys, don't forget, if you want to trade these calls anywhere with me together, do it on BYBIT. There you still get $30,000 absolutely for free. And you can trade without KYC on Margex. Actually, I should log into my Margex account. I have such a big trade running on Margex, and I cannot showcase it to you guys. I will do it now with my phone really quick. I'm still roughly up $6,000 on this trade. I was earlier today up $9,000, almost $10,000. But Link went a little bit down, but it's fine, so Link will hit my target later. And there was actually a trade that I did not share with you because I entered that before I started the spreadsheet. But regardless, go to Margex if you want to trade there without any KYC. And also on BLOFIN, there you still get $7,500 plus 10% cashback on your initial deposit. And don't remember, guys, if you're in the UK or in the US, BYBIT or Phemex are your best choice to go with. And FAIRDESK if you just want to copy trade me with the highest bonus in the industry. All these links are in the pinned comment below and in the description. Also the link to the spreadsheet with all the coins that I'm trading right now. I have made here some changes in terms of colorization to better distinct which trades are closed and which are still open. So the ones in white are still running. The ones in green are closed in profit. If I would have had a loss, I would have made them red, so just that you understand. I actually will make here a note on the side to, where I basically explain that for you guys. So now let's move on here to some other coins that I'm watching right now for potential trade. One of them is still COTI. COTI, I want to enter at the 13.3 cent level, more or less, or I might start nibbling if we move to 12.5. but the indicators are telling me we are heavily oversold. Here might be a big push coming soon to the upside. So I'm really tempted to open a trade here already a little bit prematurely, even before we break this downward sloping trend line here and this resistance area. So, but I might take some profit off the table if I would enter now a trade. Here in that resistance area of 14.4 to 15.1 cent. Then C-Pool moving really, really nicely up here today. Remember, I gave you that, I think yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So perfect area to buy it, in my opinion, with the targets that we were talking about yesterday. So here, definitely good area to enter right now. I don't see here any weakness, you know. So again, if you want to play it here super, super safe, wait for this downwards trend line to be broken. Here's a bullish pennant that we are forming. We should get the breakout in the next in the next 50 to 4 hours and 50 is, let's say the next 5 hours. Next 5 hours is when we should get the breakout out of that pattern. Then Arbitrum also trying to break out of this former resistance area that now has at the bottom side turned into support. Once we are breaking that, the next stop is around the $1.40 level. And it looks really, really good here that we are going to get this break here over the next 12 to 24 hours. So here might be also, if you still see this video at $1.22, 23, you can still enter that. If we are higher than that, I would stay away from it. You know, so if we're a little bit lower than that, also enter it. As long as we are not below $1.15. And guys, that's it for today's update. It might have been a little bit longer than usual, but I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments if you want more stuff like that here on the channel, like when I talked about Donald Trump. And don't forget, smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe if you are not subscribed, and I see you tomorrow.